Our website has more information on our top stories. Just go to channelstv.com, subscribe and watch Channels Television's live stream on YouTube and other social media platforms using your mobile device browser, or download the Channels TV app for Android and iOS devices from their respective stores. You can also watch us via your smart TV platforms on Apple TV, Android TV, Fire TV and Roku. These are not the best of times for residents of New Tire Axis of Onitsha, Nkwo, Idemili North local government area of Anambra State, as the enforcement of the lockdown order in that part of the state went up in smoke, following the alleged shooting of a 21-year-old man by operatives of the Joint Security Team. According to an eyewitness, the man was shot in the street by the police officers who came to enforce the lockdown order. The State Commissioner of Police, Mr. John Abang, however, says that account is claimed as his men came under unprovoked attack by some of the miscreants.
I went to the bridgehead in Onitsha to monitor the compliance with the lockdown order ordered by the state government. And while on my way en route back to headquarters in Oka, I got a report that some of my policemen who were on legitimate duties and patrol to enforce the stay-at-home order by government were attacked by some hoodlums who challenged them and insisted that the police was disturbing them. In the process, they poured acid on the policemen, and in self-defense, he opened fire. And unfortunately, he shot at the hoodlum on the feet, and one was taken to the hospital. I understand one is lying critically on the way, maybe at the spot, probably dead.
And in neighboring Delta State, a protest by residents of Saple has turned violent, with one person reportedly shot. The protesters accuse the state government of being insensitive towards their daily basic need for food. They marched through the popular Olympia Road in Saple, calling on the Delta State governor to call off the lockdown.
By the powers vested on me in line with the Quarantine Act and the subsequent Infectious Disease Regulation 2020, I hereby extend the stay-at-home order for another period of 2 weeks.
A proclamation that appears to be rejected by the people. And this outcry is to call the bluff of the state governor. The thought of starving from staying at home without money to buy food is a lot to bear. As the protest grows in momentum, an altercation with the police seems inevitable, and sure enough, with time, security agents become involved, leading to more agitation, and in the end, one person is shot, fueling more anger. However, the police deny shooting anyone, insisting the act must have been carried out by hoodlums.
They came under that guys protested against the 2 weeks extension, but there could be more to it. However, we have made arrests.
Meanwhile, on the issue that led to the agitation, the state government has sent its assurance the palliatives and form of food banks are available and will reach the people. A promise residents will look forward to in the hope that their stomachs will be the better for it.
Let's move over to Abuja studios, where Linda is standing by with more stories.
Hello, Melinda. Now, talking about law enforcement, the Inspector General of Police, Mohammed Adamu, has warned members of the organized transport sector against breaching the existing restriction order by resorting to night travels. Mr. Adamu says there will be tough consequences as the development has proven to be counterproductive because it undermines the federal government's efforts at curbing the spread of a deadly COVID-19 virus. In a statement, the force public relations officer, Frank Mba explains that the IGP's warning is sequel to intelligence at the disposal of the police. He notes that interstate operators have continued to defy the lockdown order and cessation of movement order by the federal government as they continue to embark on night journeys. The IGP has consequently directed commissioners of police to ensure full implementation of the restriction order, especially as it relates to night travel, but bearing in mind categories of exempted persons. The Federal Capital Territory Administration has started community testing for COVID-19 in the suburbs of the nation's capital. It is an ongoing process to identify people positive for the disease, as well as isolation and treatment for such persons. Samples were taken from the residents of Mabushi, a suburb of the nation's capital, while other people residing in the suburbs have been asked to take part in the testing. Our correspondent Kayla Megwa reports.
With the extension of the lockdown in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory Administration is capitalizing on the period to carry out community testing. At the Mabushi Primary School, health workers are preparing residents for testing and teaching them ways to keep themselves safe from COVID-19. First, the residents go through a grueling interview process to ascertain travel history, contact with individuals positive for COVID-19, and pre-existing health conditions. After the interview, some are sent home, while others are sent for testing.
Each sample we collect actually goes along with the epidemiology number. After the testing, we now communicate the results to the people via their phone numbers, and those that are positive, definitely something will be done about that immediately to isolate such persons or evacuate them to an isolation center.
It takes a week for these people to get their results from the lab in Gadua.
Nigeria is trying for the test. One, what I even understand of this test, I pray for all my people should come out to make this test so that we can help each other to get ourselves well.
The Public Health Department of the FCTA says a lot of people who work for those positive for COVID-19 live in the suburbs and may go on to infect people around them. This is coupled with the fact that rules on social distancing and compliance to the stay-at-home order are largely ignored in the suburbs.
We decided to go to the community to look for these cases actively. We know that many of our people majority of them reside in the communities, and access to this service is limited now with this lockdown.
Thank you.
It's a pretty low turnout for the community testing right here in Mabushi, in the nation's capital. But the FCTA said they will not relent. This is going to be an ongoing process. So testing centers such as this one will be springing up in all of the suburbs in the nation's capital until we're able to get as many people tested as possible. The call is for the people who live in these suburbs to embrace this community testing and help in the fight against COVID-19. Kayla Megwa, Channels Television News.
And more hands are joining the fight against COVID-19 in Nigeria. One of them is the National Lottery Trust Fund. The group, while donating a COVID-19 treatment center to the Katsina state government, insists the essence of that effort is to help flatten the curve of the disease in Katsina. The company is promising to take the gesture to more states of the country.
Coronavirus is now the #1 enemy of the over 7.5 billion persons. That is the population of the world. Since the battle against COVID-19 began in December of 2019, all affected countries have been deploying different strategies to combat it. In Katsina, northwest Nigeria, the National Lottery Trust Fund is providing the state with a high-standard COVID-19 treatment center. Here, the executive secretary of the fund, Bello Megeri, is handing over the facility to the state governor. That is after it's been commissioned for use.
in stopping the spread of the virus.
The facility is a 5-bed capacity motorized and electronically controlled center which can be upgraded to a 20-bed center.
The essence of our intervention is to deliver a world-class intensive care facility, well equipped with ventilators and personal protective gears, now urgently required to protect our healthcare professionals working on the front line to deliver excellent care to our people.
The Minister of Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs seizes the occasion to state the readiness of the federal government to fight the virus to a halt.
This administration, led by President Muhammadu Buhari, is committed and ready to fund, harness, and apply every available resource at its disposal to the benefit of the generality of the Nigerian people.
Governor Aminu Masari is planning to stop at nothing to rid the state of the disease, having recorded 5 cases so far.
We have a responsibility as government to protect lives, properties, and the honor of the people we govern. We have the force, we have the capacity, we have the determination, we have the political will to force you in. But we are appealing that in your best interest, stay at home.
Before now, Adamawa, Bauchi and Gombe states have had their shares of the intervention from the National Lottery Trust Fund, with Lagos State as the next port of call.